little different video today. There's no script. We're just talking about detachment. You've heard a couple of videos at this point, if you haven't watched enough videos yet, but on my channel, about the idea of letting her go and how that brings her back. And the more I talk about this topic, the more I experience it with clients that save their marriage, the more I understand how pivotal this concept is and what it really means. However, to a lot of men, the idea of letting go, it is a concept. It's hard to hold on to. It's not this like tangible thing that you can squeeze and like a sentence that you could say to her to convey it. It's like you have the concept of love, but what does that mean? Or if you've never seen the sunset before, you don't know you haven't even seen the sun before, and I'm trying to describe the sunset to you, it's like, oh, it's a yellow ball in the sky. You know what I mean? So it's hard to grasp. But I'm going to do my best to get you to learn this, because the men that finally understand how to take this information of letting go of her, detaching from her, and bring that information through experience, they get it. And they get her back in the process, because this highest value trait that a man can possess in a relationship with this woman, it directly gives her what she needs most, which is an emotional safety. And this is doubly so with a lot of the men we work with, because a lot of the guys we work with fall into that anxious style. Okay, they're the ones that are smothering, controlling, indirectly or directly. And it makes her feel smothered. And when she feels smothered, she doesn't feel safe. Because when she can feel safe, she's happy and inner feminine, and just, she'll do anything for you. You are her personal God. And you had that. This is why she fell in love with you, because you showed signs of that. Just somewhere along the way, you, using this ball again, there's pieces of you that just, you gave away to make her happy till there was nothing left. And you tied up your sense of self-worth into her. And because there's this empty void in you, you need her to fill it. It's almost as if you've had a parched mouth your whole entire life, and you finally drank water for the first time, and you're like, oh, that's what it feels like to feel whole. But we need to teach you to fill that hole yourself. Okay, that's what today's gonna do. Now, what does it mean to actually let go? You have to learn it yourself, to go through the experience. And listening to me right now, it'll give you a framework, almost like a map, to take steps along this journey to go get that treasure that letting go gives you. That ultimate self-reliance, independence, assertiveness, confidence that you used to have to a higher degree, but you allowed yourself to become attached. Now, when it comes to the idea of letting go, it's a paradox in itself. The paradox here is that you are able to still care for her, to even want to be with her, but be detached whether it happens or not. You can express your desire, but if she rejects or pulls away, there is no effect emotionally on you. You see? And you can argue that this is the highest form of love. It's not an unconditional love. You still have your boundaries as a man, and your assertiveness and who you are and your values, right? And you won't accept anything less than you deserve. But at the same time, you still go after what you want unapologetically, with no attachment or idea of trying to force her to respond in a certain way. There's really only one reason why this brings her back. If you watch my other videos, you'll know that by far the most important need that she has is to feel safe. When a woman feels safe and secure in herself, she gets out of her head. She goes into her feminine, her natural state. She's that bird singing her song, right? She's happy. That's what she strives for, is that happiness, that connection. And safety is the number one thing she has. It's the first filter towards that connection with you. And the reason why letting go makes her feel that way, especially with the core dynamic that a lot of men we have play out with their wife being avoidant and their husbands being anxious, is that when she's feeling smothered, you're trying to attach to her, she doesn't feel safe. She feels like you're clinging on to her, that she has to take care of you, that she's being mom to you. Or like, I got to take care of this man. He's nothing without me. I want to look up to the guy I'm with. I want him to know that he's good without me. right? That's the man she wants. She wants to be like, oh my gosh, like she wants to idolize you. At one point she did. You were her divine, you were that guy. I don't want to say the G word, but like you were that to her at one point. You showed her who she was, and she did the same. Because you had that detachment, you knew who you were first. This is the concept of like interdependence, right? It's like 1 + 1 = 3. That's what it is, but you slowly gave away pieces of yourself until there was an echo, a shadow, an imaginary figure of the man that you once were. Now, there are 3 common mistakes when men attempt to show their wives that they're letting go. And doing these mistakes will just immediately tell her that you're not being genuine, you're faking it, and it sabotages your chances with her. The first mistake is faking detachment or incongruency, which is they'll go up to their wives and they'll say things like, just want to let you know I don't need you. Or just want to let you know that, I'll give you space. Or they say all the right words, but then their actions don't show it, right? They'll double text her. She'll say, okay, like she'll actually be happy, right? And she'll show some signs of connection with you, but then she'll test you. And we have plenty of videos on tests on this channel. She'll at the end of this video, I'll give you my best test video on this channel. But then she'll test you and then you fail it. You weren't being honest or congruent or consistent. There wasn't a through line in your thoughts, emotions, and actions. And so she lacks trust. And she said it was all facade. The second way that you can fake this is you use it as a tactic. Okay, it's similar with the first one, but you maybe go a little bit further where you actually are being congruent and consistent with not texting her, not double texting her, or like you know all the right things to do or say. Like when she goes out for a weekend doesn't tell you that you shouldn't text her, you shouldn't call her, or she challenges you and you say the right things by not saying anything, right? But deep down she can sense that underneath all that is this scared, anxious guy that just wants to cling on. It's like you're forcing it. It's like you're holding your breath underwater, and at any moment you're gonna drown in the anxiety, right? Because you're faking it. And the reason why this happens is because you're not being truly authentic with it. And eventually she'll test you enough to where you do, again, fall apart. And this leads into the third mistake, which is there's a lack of self-improvement. If you are this ball, right, and there have been cracks in you over time, things that you have let go of and given up, and you're just falling apart, oftentimes what a man will try to do is he'll kind of paint over the cracks, right? He'll do things to show a facade of who he is, but he's not truly focusing on healing himself, right? Putting cement through this and making it stronger and more durable. And the way you do that is you focus on self-improvement. You look at the things and the deep core reasons why she actually left you. Like, where does this source of this clinginess actually come from? Do you even know? When did it develop? Was it with a caregiver, a parent, an earlier relationship, a first marriage? You have to go to the source of where this is all coming from. If you never go to the source, it'll unconsciously just direct your life and you'll call it fate. In my earliest relationship, when I was cheated on and left for by another man, such a blessing to have that, because there was a wound there initially. And I felt like I wasn't good enough. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was like, a woman can't leave for another guy unless somehow the other guy is better. That's what I was telling myself. And so that started the fortunate journey of self-improvement, of an insatiable appetite to learn, to read hundreds and hundreds of books, to go to grad school, to figure this out, to know female dynamics. And that wound, the reason I was doing it was negative at first, right? I wanted to prove her. I wanted to make sure that she regretted leaving me. But over time, I healed that wound, but that part of me never went away, the positive aspect of self-improvement. And that's what you have to do right now, is you have to use this anger, this hopelessness, this anxiety, and direct that energy. It is useful. You direct that energy into yourself, into growth, into self-exploration, into becoming the best version of yourself. And you're not doing it for her. If you are doing this to get her back, it is fleeting. You'll go back to complacency as soon as you have her. You must choose right now, in this present moment, to do this for yourself, to learn detachment, to understand where this all came from, to set goals for yourself that you know deep down you always wanted. Maybe you've let go of. Maybe you rationalize that it's not possible, I don't have enough time, or whatever the excuse is. If you watch any of the hundreds of reviews that we have of guys that have saved their marriage, when they finally get this down, when the information goes from the head to the heart, the longest path of learning, and they experience what it really means to focus on themselves, there's an energetic shift. She feels it. She knows that you don't need her anymore. And she will start to reach out to you. I can say that with complete confidence and certainty because I've seen it countless times. It's a clear pattern. So what do you do when she does finally reach out? At this point, you should have your boundaries set. You should know your values. You should have different standards in what you accept in the relationship. She wasn't perfect. I know that. I challenge you guys because I'm working with men, right? Like, I want you to take responsibility, but I know she's not perfect. So you need to set new boundaries because here's what's going to happen. Every single time this is what happens. She will breadcrumb you. She will give you little pieces of affection, time, energy, interest. And then she'll test you. Then she'll say, oh, I'm going to go hang out with this person, or I'm going to introduce our kid to this guy I've been dating, or I'm going to go on this trip, or I'm going to go spend money on this, or I want this much and I want the divorce. Whatever it is, she'll test you after she breadcrumbs you. In that pivotal moment, you must hold firm in your boundary and risk losing her, risk upsetting her. You must risk letting her go. Because as soon as you do that, you're a man worthy being with. And she would be an idiot. And she would be crazy if she didn't come back to you. Because of how much value you have as a man. It's the only thing she wants. She wants you to be your best self. And if there's a part of you right now that I know exists in every man that's saying, why do I have to be the one? Why do I have to put the work in? Why do I got to be the better man? You don't. You don't. You don't have to step up. You don't have to lead. You don't have to take care of these things that have been pushing her away and others away. You don't have to be a role model for your children. You don't have to. Because if you say, the other day I was talking to a guy and everything that came out of his mouth, he's like, Josh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. I'm like, pause for a second. Instead of saying, I need to let her go, I need to be a better man, how does it feel to say, I want to? I was like, go on, say it. He's like, I want to be a better man. I was like, okay, how's that feel? He's like, I feel empowered. How does it feel when you say you need to? He's like, it makes me feel like I don't want to. Okay? So you don't have to let her go. You don't have to grow. But just accept that if you don't, neither will she. It's hard. It's scary. It's a lot of work. I know this. I know how it feels to want to give up. Screw this. It's over. Fuck this. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I get that voice. Oh, that's a friend of mine, right? He lives within me at times too. But if you listen deep enough to that voice, he's scared. He doesn't want to be hurt. He doesn't want to be left alone. And the process of letting go is becoming that side of you as parent, friend, helper, teacher. And learning to be with yourself through this dark time. That is the biggest gift you can give yourself on this planet. Because then you come into every relationship full of life, of happiness, of joy, and you spread that value to others, and you light this world up, and you are untouchable. It doesn't matter what you do, what you have, it's who you are. It's what you become. What a beautiful gift to give others that contact you, that come into contact with you. You can be a source of light in this world. But you must get through that darkness. You must go down to the depths and understand that core fear, confront it, and heal it. By far the best way to do this is to work with our team. I've been doing this for a very long time. and our expert coaches have worked with thousands of men with the same situation as you. And so we know exactly what you need to focus on to get through that darkness, to come out the other end. Because what's the alternative? If you don't take action, you're just convincing me that you want to suffer. And I don't want that for you. Okay. Thank you for watching this unscripted video. It's more of a just talk between you and me. I'll see you in the next one.